Starting this vlog off. It's not really a vlog, it's more like just like a normal video. It's been a while since I've filmed. It's been a while since I've been pretty busy for the past few months, and a lot of it is because of finances and life doing what it does. But I'm back. I'm out in nature. It's not too bad. It actually just finished raining, so kind of just wanted to talk about alignment and being intentional about what you do with your life, being intentional about the choices that you make. Lately, I've just been way more intentional about what I want to do with my life because, this is an art channel. This is me trying to be an artist, my journey of being an artist. Damn, my arm's getting tired. Basically, my journey about being an artist and the trials and tribulations that come with that. And I think a lot of the time, the decisions that I was making was out of desperation and fear. But lately, I don't know, I've just been wanting to be less afraid of going after the things that I want, right? The choices that I was making, like I said, was out of fear. And think about when I look back on my life and the choices that I make, I essentially don't want to have any regrets, is what I'm saying. And I think there's something to be said about being aligned, and then also being, like I was saying, intentional, alignment with your higher self, right? And I think when we think about higher self, at least how I interpret higher self, is essentially the person that you want to be, just be that. And I've seen videos about it too, but what does this higher self look like? What does this person eat for breakfast? What does this person do on a daily basis? What does this person do for exercise? Who is this person friends with? What does their outer circle look like? Or their inner circle look like? What does that look like? And just be that, right? And then that comes along, and with that comes alignment, because you're choosing things that are aligned with that higher self. And then you ultimately become the thing that you want to become. And I think back to like the decisions that I was making, and I was genuinely making choices. Okay, I don't have a job. What's the next job I have, right? So I recently got laid off from my job, my design job, the job that was barely paying me anything, where the point where I literally had to do DoorDash in order to support myself, in order to keep a roof over my head. I got laid off because of Trump. And so obviously I'm afraid because I don't want to lose my house, or my apartment. So I'm like, okay. So I basically messaged one of my neighbors and I'm like, do you have a job for me to do? Because I've been cool with them and they've been pretty helpful in my artist journey anyway. So I hit them up and I was like, do you have any jobs available? Like, I'll literally do anything. And so she was like, yeah, we need cooks, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do that. So I became a line cook. I have no interest in being a line cook. I want to be an artist. Like, I'm literally making paintings on this YouTube channel. That is what I want to be doing, selling art, making art, being surrounded by the art community within Atlanta. And then I chose to be a line cook because I needed quick money, And so I did that. I became a line cook. And I just noticed that even though I enjoyed line cook, because there's like a little bit of a creative process that comes with it, even though you do have a recipe of things that you have to follow, it's fun, it's interactive, it's quick with your hands. That was exciting to me. I enjoyed that. But then over time, because I've only been there for a month, over time I was just like, this isn't what I want though. This isn't my purpose. I know what my purpose is, and it's not this. But I needed money. And just the people around that I was cooking with, their energy just was not aligned with mine. I felt like a burden. I felt like a nuisance. I felt underappreciated. I just did not like that environment. And so I started to think about, okay, what is it about me that is making these choices and being put in these situations that I don't truly love? And I feel like I'm almost like falling away from what I want, or falling away from what I want my future to be, because I'm just making these quick decisions without being intentional. And so I was like, I thought about what my higher self looks like. Who does my higher self interact with, right? How does my higher self talk? What is their personality? And I realized that I was none of that stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, I need to change essentially who I am, not in a way that feels inauthentic to who I am, but in a way that allows me to be the thing that I want to become. Because in that is authenticity. Because that is something that you do want to be. That higher self, that person that you want to be is there. And it's a part of you. There's a reason why you want to be that. It's not this vapid type of desire. This is a desire that you have within you that is calling out to you. And so I'm like, okay. And I thought about my higher self, and my higher self is essentially someone that is talkative, is gregarious, is connects with everyone, can connect with everyone. This person is healthy, is fit. This person is always doing things that they want. You know, is mostly doing the things that they want to be doing on a day-to-day basis. And I realized I wasn't doing any of that. And so I was like, okay, I need to change essentially who I am. I need to be a different person. And so I became that. I literally lost like 20 pounds because my higher self eats healthy. My higher self doesn't eat junk food. Of course, come on, let's be real. Like, Zaxby's is delicious. I'm actually gonna have Zaxby's later, but the diet, I was more intentional about my diet, what I'm eating, when I'm eating it. And so that was something that was very important to me, is diet. And so I lost I lost 20 pounds. And so and that in itself is, to me, is like a strong reflection of what happens when you decide to make an intentional decision on what it is you want to be, who it is you want to be. So for me, I'm like, okay, well, if that's who I want to be, then I just become that. And this other higher self is a person that isn't afraid. There's literally a guy walking right now, isn't afraid to film out in public, isn't afraid to talk to anybody and anything, because no one cares. No one actually cares what you're doing. Everybody is too focused on what they got going on, and they're not focused on what you have. So what you're doing on your own is what you're doing on your own. No one actually cares. They're focused on themselves. And I think remembering that and reflecting on that was like, oh, well, then I can just literally do whatever. I could literally be in a field filming because I want to, and that's what I'm doing. And I just felt like life has just like life is literally coming out of me. The and and the decisions that I'm making are so more calculated. Something that I was like, okay, I can do that, because these are all things that I want to be doing, but for some reason, a fear of being shy, all these things were preventing me, that I didn't even realize were preventing me from being the person that I wanted to be. I thought I was just a quiet, reserved guy, but really, I'm not that. I'm not a quiet, reserved guy. I like interacting with people. I get energized by being around people, but my background and my upbringing just didn't allow that. So I became this thing that is actually preventing me from being the person that I knew I was actually. And I don't know, it's just been really fulfilling being more intentional. And so for me, I'm like, okay, well, this line cook job isn't really allowing me to be the thing that I want to be. So let me find a job that does pay, but is also allowing me to kind of get out of my comfort zone, right? Being able to talk to people, being able to connect with people is something that I actually care about. But being a line cook was literally not allowing me to do that. I was like, all right, well, I gotta leave. So I got a new job. I got a server job that, I start pretty soon. And I'm more interested in doing that, because I know that means that I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone and talk to people, go out and be that gregarious person that I want to be, because that is my higher self. That is what my higher self does. And so making all these intentional decisions to get to be the person I want to be is what I'm doing, and that goes down to like And the server job isn't necessarily to help my art career develop, but it's a personal goal that I have that I'm trying to achieve. And so that was, to me, that, that makes a world of difference, because that's another intentional decision I'm making to become the thing that I want to become. If you feel like you aren't where you want to be, think about the decisions that you're making. Think about the person that you are, and that person, does that person get what you want out of life? Does that person get the things that you want in life? If it doesn't, then something has to change, and it has to be you. You have to be the person to change it. No one is going to tell you, hey, you need to do this, and that, especially at a big age. Like, let's be real, bro. Like, you have to be the one to make that decision. You have to be the one to change. And I just realized that the person that I was not getting the things that I wanted. In fact, for a long time, I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I just think about like all the past jobs that I had. Whenever I intentionally chose to pick something that I actually cared about, my life improved. But it was always when I made decisions out of fear, my life started to almost revert or regress. And I don't know, I've been seeing the light come back into my eyes by making active decisions. Even when it comes down to picking somebody, picking a partner, right? Picking someone that you know you're compatible with. Not this person is just nice, this person is kind, you guys have something in common. But no, like, is this person actually for you? Is this person compatible with who you are? And if you don't like who you are, why would you want to pick someone that's compatible with a version of yourself that you don't like? It doesn't make sense. You're not going to be fulfilled in life. You just won't. And so for me, I'm like, okay, I need to adjust who I need to be, or who I want to be the version of myself that I actually want to be. And then, choose somebody or pick somebody that is reflective of myself at that time, but also can grow at the same time. Because I think that when you are compatible with somebody, like truly compatible with someone, you can actually grow with them. You can actually grow into the versions of yourself that you actually want to be, because you are a unit, you are connected. Just so interesting too, like, I mean, like, I don't know how y'all feel about the universe and things like that, but I genuinely feel like when you try to follow the universe's path, not necessarily a path that's laid out for you, but universe's way of alignment, right? I genuinely feel like you end up just inevitably being who you want to be, because once again, there's intention behind every decision. And I think when you pick things that aren't aligned with you, the universe the universe has a way of telling you, like, this is not this is not it. Because, like, it was so funny when I was applying for the line cook job. I was applying for the line cook job while I was working as a designer. And I was just doing that because DoorDash, I was like, this is a depreciating asset that I'm using to make money. I don't know if it's fully worth it. I mean, the pay is okay, but it's not, like, I don't want to have to run my car into the ground in order to make money. And so I was like, okay, let me get a second job. And so I tried to be the line cook. And I knew that the design job had exceeded its expiration date, right? Like, I should have left that job years ago, but I stayed because I was afraid of what could be. And the moment I applied, or like I had an interview for the line cook job, the moment I got hired, I had to clock in that same day. So I went for the interview, then I went home because I worked from home at the time. I drove home, I clocked in to my designer job, and my supervisor emailed me and said, hey, yeah, we have to let you go. And I just thought that was so, like, the timing was just so, or just interesting, I should say, because the moment one door closed, another one opened. And that door that opened to get me into the line cook job, helped me understand the restaurant industry. And it made me realize like, oh wait, like serving seems to be more of the direction that I want to be in, because it's forcing me to be this person that I want to be. And so it was almost like this pathway to becoming the thing that I wanted to be, but I needed to enter into being a line cook to get to that, to know that, because I wouldn't have known that had I been a line cook. Because the moment I became a line cook, I was like, oh, this is not for me. But it was within an industry that I realized that I could benefit from. And that's when I realized, like, okay, I want to be a servant job. And then I went to go get a server job. I got hired as a server. And literally the day after, I got fired as a line cook because I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't. And I actually tried. Like, I genuinely feel like that job, I was very into. I tried. Like, I definitely tried to be the best line cook I could be, because that's just how I am. Like, I just like to be the best. But even with my best, it was not good enough for them. And it was funny because, like, I had already realized that I just did not want to do this. And then here I am, fired from being a line cook. But then another door opened, which was being a server, which is a thing that I wanted to be. And I just thought, like, man, that is so crazy that happened, because that could have easily, I could have easily been out of a job, you know. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just really beautiful to kind of see, like, and just like become the thing that, like, I actually want to be, without feeling like, oh man, oh, I had to go through this, oh, I had to go through this hardship, that hardship. Because I mean, these aren't like great things that are happening, but I see the value in them, because I see them becoming and helping me become the thing that I want to be. So it's funny, because I would think that, like, I would be so much more stressed and freaking out, but I'm not, like, because I realize what I'm doing with my life. I know which direction I'm trying to go. And when it comes to the art world, you know, navigating that is another situation, because, you know, I'm being more intentional about going out and seeing galleries and connecting with people in the art world within my city. You know, I had a conversation with, you know, I reconnected with one of these art advisement friend that I have, and she was basically trying to tell me, like, who to connect with in the city and what galleries that would fit more my art style. And so, like, I went to those galleries. I'm gonna go to another gallery this weekend. Going into the city for figure drawing classes, and, you know, going to concerts with music and artists, like local talent that I like, right? I went to this indie night the other day, and it was cool. Like, the vibes were just, yeah, man, it's just been great. And it's all because I made an active decision to choose, okay, this is what I like, this is what I like, this is where I want to be, this is who I want to be, and then just do that. Like, I literally wrote down what my higher self is, and I just started doing it. I mean, some things I can't do, because my higher self, one of one of the things that my higher self, a nice house in California. I'm obviously not in California, but that's one of my goals. I want to move to California at some point. The thing about my higher self is that he travels a lot. You know, I can't afford to travel right now, but I'm going to, you know. So it's just, I don't know, it's just so, it's nice recognizing, like, okay, these are the decisions that I want to make to be the thing that I want to be, and just doing it. Because we only have one life. We literally only have this life, at least that we know of. So why would we not fill it with things that we love? Why are we forced to live and make decisions that we know we are not supposed to be doing, but we're just afraid because what, you know? So, yeah.